Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Divorce Decision podcast. I am so delighted that you decided to join me today because I think this is a topic that is quite relevant to most people, regardless of how healthy or unhealthy your relationship is. One of the ways that I pick my topics is by not only patterns that I see showing up when I work with people, but also based off of questions that I get a lot. And today's topic is about conflict and what is normal conflict versus conflict that is a sign that your marriage is in deep trouble. And that is definitely a question that I get a lot. Like, is this normal? And I say, yes, it is, or no, it's not. So that's how I came up with today's topic, because this is a question that I've actually received a lot in the last couple of months. So I thought you guys all might benefit from it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask yourself that can help you figure this out. All right. So question number 1 is, do your arguments stay on topic? Normal fighting stays connected to the issue, to whatever it is that you're disagreeing about. You forgot to pick up the prescription, or you were late again, or you said you'd handle, paying that bill or reaching out to the insurance company, but you didn't. You were on the phone when I was trying to talk to you, and I've asked you a couple of times, would you please put your phone down? Okay. So it might be frustrating. The disagreement might get tense, but your fight or your argument is still connected to the actual issue that you're having a problem with. In unhealthy and deeply troubled marriages, conflict sounds much different. It becomes, you never follow through. You don't care about me. I can't count on you for anything. This is exactly why I don't trust you. You always make me feel alone. Okay, so that's when the fight or the argument has moved from this thing that has happened to what this thing means about you, me, and us. So are you making whatever this disagreement is about, are you making it mean more than it actually means? Now, sometimes the shift is valid, right? Sometimes that small thing really is attached to a bigger problem or a bigger pattern, but that's exactly why it matters. The question isn't, are we fighting about something silly? The better question is, does this fight stay on topic? Is it about the issue, or does it become proof of everything that feels wrong in the marriage? Does it become more evidence that my husband or my wife is lacking in character or some other thing in some way? So that's a big clue. Question number 2. Are you able to effectively repair after a fight? Normal fighting can repair. You can resolve stuff. Deeper trouble definitely leaves, I'm going to call it a residue on your relationship. Every couple fights, y'all. This is not the problem. The problem is what happens after. In healthy marriages, you might fight, but then you cool off, you circle back, you soften, you apologize. Someone makes a joke, or you just naturally find your way back to each other. Okay, it may not be perfect, but there's some kind of repair. I know in my marriage, when my husband and I argue, he's almost always the first one that does this. If we're arguing or we're upset with each other, especially if we're in the car, he will reach his hand over and hold my hand. I know I've said that a million times on this podcast, but he'll, come over and give me a hug if we're not in the car. He'll do something even if we're still upset with each other. We find our way back to each other. That fight or the disagreement doesn't become this permanent part of our relationship. It doesn't add to any resentment, okay? But in a marriage that's in deeper trouble, fights don't really end. They just go underground. You stop talking about it, and but you're still carrying it around with you. So there's coldness, there's distance, there's a heaviness in the room. You move on logistically, but emotionally, nothing has been repaired. So you're still making dinner, still driving the kids around, still functioning, but inside, one or both of you is just adding whatever happened and whatever was said to the pile of resentment that you've been creating. And that pile is what becomes dangerous. Okay. So eventually what happens is you're not just reacting to what happened today, you're reacting to what happened today plus the last, I don't know, year, 5 years, 10 years of unresolved hurt, of unresolved problems. Okay, so the question here to ask is, after conflict, do we find our way back to each other? Or does every fight leave more residue behind in our relationship? The third question, do you still bring up and talk about things that are bothering you? And that goes both ways. Are you bringing it up to your spouse? Are they bringing it up to you? Normal fighting still has engagement. Deeper trouble often gets quiet. So a lot of people think that one of the biggest signs is really loud arguing or frequent arguing. And sometimes that is the case. But in a lot of marriages, the bigger warning sign is not the yelling, it's the silence. It's the quiet. Because it's not peaceful quiet. It's not, we took a break and now we come back and we're calmer, right? It's not that kind of quiet. I'm talking about the kind of quiet where one or both of you has stopped bringing things up because you already know how it's going to go. So you stop asking, stopped explaining, you stopped trying to be understood, you stopped hoping that the conversation will change anything. That kind of silence can look calm from the outside, but inside of the marriage, it often means that one or both of you is emotionally checking out. When people still argue, there's still some investment there. You're still trying to be heard. You're still trying to connect. You're still trying to get on the same page. You still care enough to push to resolve and to get to the bottom of things. But when you stop trying completely, that may not mean things are better. It may mean that you're done asking for change. So the question there, you guys, to ask is, are we still willing to talk about what matters? Or has one of us or both of us quietly stopped trying? So look, here is the bottom line. Normal fighting and deeper trouble can look very similar in the moment. The difference is what happens after. Can you repair? Can you come back to each other? Can you talk about things that actually matter? Are you both still willing to try? Or has the conflict started leaving residue, resentment, distance, and silence behind? That's what I want you guys to pay attention to. It's the pattern, okay? Now listen, if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, but I still don't know where we are, that totally makes sense. It is really hard to see like your own marriage inside of it clearly, right? Okay, but I created a quiz for you. It's called Should We Get a Divorce? It is free, it is private, and it is designed to help you figure out where you are in that divorce decision process. And it's not to push you towards staying or leaving, but it's to help you get out of the fog so you can start asking the right questions. Okay, so you can take that quiz at kahoskins.com. It only takes a couple of minutes, so I would encourage you to do that. And I'm also going to put it in the show notes for you, okay? And it's not about making a decision, you guys. It's really just about helping you find a little bit more clarity. And clarity starts with telling the truth about what is actually happening inside of your marriage, right? So look, if you found today's episode to be helpful, would you please just take a moment of your time and leave me a review? That would really help me out. Also, if you happen to know someone who could benefit from what we talked about today, please share this episode. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Carrie Hoskins, and this is the Divorce Decision Podcast. I'll talk to you next time.